this episode of the Budding Watch Enthusiast, Baselworld 2018 was last week. For those of you that are not familiar with what Baselworld is, it is a huge, huge event where the biggest watch companies in the world all bring their new designs, their new pieces, show them off to the media, to the public for the first time. It's kind of a big deal. For those of you that might be into video games, it's kind of like the E3 of watches. That's the biggest comparison for me. So this is the first time, of course, that I was really aware of Baselworld since I'm relatively new to the hobby. So it was a chance for me to kind of follow along online, to take a look at all the different releases that come out, to look at everything, and pick out a few watches that I wanted to share with you guys today that I thought that caught my eye the most. And we can take a look at those in a second. Before we do, a quick wristwatch check. It is Orioles opening day as I am recording this, so I am wearing my Sal Baltimore on an orange Zulu strap. Of course, a Baltimore watch with an orange strap for the Orioles. So that is what I am rocking today. It's important to note on this list that a couple of the watches that I'm going to mention, for me, are pretty much unattainable. They're in a price range that I'm not going to be hitting anytime soon. It would require, a huge amount of saving for me to get up to some of these watches. And I still believe that it's a good idea. It's a good thing to look at watches that are unattainable, not because you want to sit there and pine after what you can't have, but because you can use the style and you can use the aesthetics of the watch to inform other watches that you may be able to pick up down the road. I'm actually going to do a video here soon of my grail is a Rolex Explorer, and examining some more, some affordable alternatives, because it would take me several years to save up to be able to afford a Rolex Explorer. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at the 5 watches that most caught my eye at Baselworld 2018. Tudor was kind of the star of the show for Baselworld. They released a Pepsi Gmt, which people had been clamoring for them to release for a while. They're releasing a 39mm version of their Black Bay Diver's watch, which a lot of people are also very excited about. For me personally, the watch from them that most caught my eye is the 1926 collection that they showed off for the first time at Baselworld, and most notably the black dialed version. This is a black dial with a waffle pattern. It does have a date complication, as you see there. The cool thing about this is it comes in a huge variety of sizes. It comes in 42mm, I believe, 39mm, 36, and 32. So a huge bevy of sizes depending on what your preferred size is. And the best part about this watch is that it's under $2,000. The black version in 39mm, I believe, clocks in around 1,800 bucks, which is insane for a Tudor watch, for this entry-level Tudor piece. Now, the reason that it's so relatively inexpensive is because it does house an ETA 2824 movement. So it is a mass-produced Swiss movement. You're not getting the Tudor in-house movement that they rolled out for their Black Bay line last year, I believe. That's the only kind of sticking point with it. But when you're talking about getting a Tudor at 1,800 bucks, and that's MSRP, by the way, if you go through an authorized dealer, you're probably not even going to pay that much. And take a look at this watch. I mean, this is, I just mentioned the Rolex Explorer. When I do that video about, affordable alternatives, this Tudor 1926 is going to be on that list, because this definitely has an Explorer vibe, an Explorer aesthetic to it that would fill that need nicely for me while I wait for, be able to save up to actually get the Explorer. So the Tudor 1926 is my first Baselworld pick. My second pick comes from Omega. They showed off a couple new Seamasters. I'm not really into the newer the 300-meter professional line. What did catch my eye, though, is the Seamaster 1948 limited edition. This one is basically an update of the original Seamaster design that they rolled out back in 1948. It is the 70th anniversary of that watch. And just look at this watch. It is a gorgeous looking watch. Beautiful dial. I like the small seconds version personally, more than the center seconds. The center seconds is a newer design for them. It does have the newer coaxial movement that Omega is known for. It clocks in at a very nice 38 millimeter. The thing that also really took me to this watch, look at the case back for this watch. Gorgeous case back, celebrating the 70th anniversary of the Seamaster line. The sticking point for this one, though, is that it is releasing at $6,500, and it is being limited to 1,948 pieces. So it's going to be exclusive. It's going to be very collectible. I wouldn't be surprised to see the prices eventually going up on this watch over time. So again, something that I'm probably not going to own, even though it would be really awesome to, but something that I can use to inform other watches that I purchase. That is the Seamaster 1948 limited edition. Next up is a watch from Zenith, a company that I'm not too familiar with personally. I know that they do make the El Primero Chronograph watch, which is one of the best chronographs in the world. The watch from them that caught my eye the most, though, is the Pilot Type 20 Chronograph Extra Special. Zenith wrote out a couple Pilot's watches that are very similar in their style. You have the regular Type 20 Extra Special, which is just a straight up Pilot's watch. This is the same watch, but a chronograph version. The thing that caught my eye for this watch is the beautiful blue dial in the version that we're looking at here. Now, it does come in a couple other dial colors, black and I want to say green, if I'm not mistaken. But the blue dial for me is where it's at. The beautiful color blue on here also comes in a bronze case, which is very cool because that case will patina and will wear uniquely to your watch than somebody else's watch because just of how bronze works. Just look at the design of this watch. The hands, fantastic. It's got a huge onion crown on the side. It's just a really beautiful watch. This is one of the most beautiful watches that I've ever seen. It's fantastic. It does use the El Primero chronograph movement, so you're getting basically an El Primero movement in this huge chronograph watch. And it's a big watch. It's going to be big. It's a Pilot's watch. It's 45 millimeters, which for my wrist would be fine. It would not look too big on my wrist. Now again, this is one that unfortunately I don't foresee getting anytime soon. It checks in at $7,100 for this Zenith Pilot Type 20. But if I had $7,100 lying around, it would be hard to resist picking this one up because this is just a fantastic looking watch from a company that's made great chronographs in the past. So the Zenith Pilot Type 20 Chronograph Extra Special, just a gorgeous, gorgeous watch. My fourth pick is a little bit of an off-the-wall one. This is from Nomos. This is their Glashütte Autobahn watch. This one was a very divisive watch at the show from everything that I've read online. It's a 41 millimeter watch, but this is a very stylish watch. Nomos is a company that does a lot of like Bauhaus designs, very minimalist designs for their watches. This one seems to have a bit more flair than a lot of their other watches that I've seen from them. I just really love the color on this watch. You got a white dialed watch, but you have the blue markers around the inside that make it mimic a speedometer, hence the Autobahn name. I love the orange accents on the watch as well with the seconds hand. It's just a really attractive watch. Like I said, very divisive. If your style does not cater towards this style of watch, then you're going to think it's ugly and hate it. I think it's gorgeous. Look at the loom shot on this thing. The loom is fantastic because, again, you have that speedometer theme. It looks like a gauge cluster lit up. I also love the date window, which has not only the current date, but you can see the previous and next dates in there as well. It's very nice. This one is $4,800. Now, Nomos's watches, their entry-level pieces are around $2,000. They have stuff that sits around like $6,000 as well for their higher-end stuff. This sits right in between. But yeah, the Nomos Glashütte Autobahn. Not typically my normal style, but I think this watch is very attractive. The last one that I want to talk about here, this is from Oris, a company who I've seen a lot of their watches online, and their designs don't really speak to me that much. Oris makes a lot of dive watches. That's what they're primarily known for. They've never really caught my attention too much. But this new one from them absolutely did. This is their Big Crown pointer date that they unveiled at Baselworld. And again, specifically the blue one here. I don't know what it is this year about blue watches, but this blue on there is just a fantastic, like, pale matte blue. It's very, very attractive. It's very cool, and of course you have the fluted bezel around the outside as well. You have the huge crown. Again, just a very, very attractive watch. And I love the pointer date complication here. You see that long hand with the red tip that points to the outside of the watch, where you see the date wheel along the outside. I think that's a much more elegant way to handle a date window. Again, typically you see just the window in there that it flicks through. This is a very cool design. Not, of course, or not far from the first person to use a pointer date, but it looks great on this watch. It's 40 millimeters, a fantastic size. Of course, it uses a Sellita SW200-1 movement, or it usually uses Sellita movements. They're another mass-produced Swiss movement that you find, but it adds the module to put the pointer date on there as well. And this one's actually relatively affordable price. It's $1,600 on a leather strap, $1,800 on a bracelet. If I were getting it, I would opt for the leather strap personally. I think it looks better on there anyway. So this is one that that if they keep it out for a while, that maybe one day I could eventually save up and pick up as well, because I think this watch is very cool looking and excellent. So that's it. That's my 5 watches from Baselworld that most caught my attention. I'd love to hear the ones that you guys are interested in. You can let me know in the comments below. Of course, I did not mention the Rolex Pepsi, the new GMT that they're rolling out, that I'm sure a lot of folks are excited about. I didn't mention anything from Seiko. Seiko had a lot of cool designs that came out at Baselworld as well. So again, let me know in the comments below what watches that you saw from the show that you were interested in. As usual, thank you very much for watching. If you could help me out, leave a like on this video if you found it informative. If you enjoy the content that I'm putting out, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon. That way you'll be notified whenever I post a new video. Thanks again for watching, and I will catch you guys the next time.